Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. Today, I am so excited. We have a special guest amongst us, an in-person recording, the second one in JaianMusic Notes history. This is really exciting for me. I can't believe it. Today, I am joined with Mike HG, a fellow composer, someone who helped me, who was the butter to my bread for the conception of Anime Anthems Volume 4, who was very, very talented composer. I'm so glad. I've been hounding this person to come on for a long time because I really wanted to do a full breakdown of this album together. 9 tracks, Anime Anthems Volume 4. And I'll say right now, my favorite iteration of Anime Anthems of the series of albums that I do. This is Giant Music Notes, the podcast where we break down anime music. And today, we're doing an album breakdown. Instead of a solo episode breakdown of a single, we're doing a whole schlong of songs. Mike, how are you?
I'm fine. And you?
I'm doing really well. I'm very excited to be here today with you. I think it's going to be a great time, a great listen. For the people who do not know you, who are not familiar with your work, tell us a little bit about yourself and then and your journey in music and what you've done with music.
Well, first of all, as I say, we met back in the day at college at UQAM.
Yeah.
Here in Montreal.
And the Université du Québec à Montréal in film music composition.
Exactement.
Yeah.
But I have not only done composition in my life. Actually, I'm a musician.
You are.
I perform much more than I compose nowadays. So I'm mainly a bassist, but I also play the guitar. At this moment, I play in several projects. So where I played, definitely can stuff from rock to ska. At the same time, I have done, when you go to music school, you play so many genres, so you get familiarized with almost anything. So
Yeah.
I like playing music and playing and
Absolutely, man.
and composing other stuff.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
different kind of music. So yeah, and actually it was back in the school when I got interested by music composition, especially for video games. That's like my
That is what you love doing.
if I could take a dream desk job, that would be mine. Like video game music composer. That's what I really love.
Absolutely. I think that would be a great position, and I think it's a dream position for everyone. And a dream is having your own sponsor, and I do have my own sponsor.
Oh, really?
Yes, this podcast is sponsored by Laser Audio Technologies. They are a plugin company that creates creative effects plugins, and if you use code JaianMusic, you get 25% off at checkout. Every dollar from that code goes straight back into the podcast, such as GoPro Keo, who does all of the artwork for JaianMusic Notes and even did the artwork for Anime Anthems Volume 4, the Jaian chilling on a cloud, which was really like, I think we can start here. The conception of this for me was I really wanted to do an album length project with someone else. I was like, Anime Anthems is like this series of, let me just take my favorite anime songs and like have the theme. First volume was lo-fi, second was orchestral, third one was 8-bit, and this one I wanted to go like orchestral ambient, which is kind of like just the style of music all of my covers are nowadays. I'm telling you right now, this album was a definite turning point for me in terms of how I like approaching anime music cover content online. And I mean, from a general point of view, when I approached you with this project, how did you feel about it? Like, what came to mind? Like, what was the first thought?
The first thought was like, I didn't want to do it like...
I didn't want to do it.
Especially having to work with you, yeah.
Right?
No.
Like, I didn't want. No, I don't. My life's hard enough.
Besides having to endure you, like, no. Okay, no. Our jokes. I just see. Let's see what happens. Like, I didn't have anything on mind or a specific goal. Actually, to be honest, I never listened to the original songs. I didn't want to. I mean, like, I remember when you gave me the idea, you gave me the tracks, and I said, I'm gonna start from here.
Yeah.
Because it's very different when you get just the MIDI files instead of getting like the real vibe
Yeah,
with
yeah,
lyrics
exactly,
and stuff
exactly.
like that. So I went like, okay, I have this. What can I do with
What can I
it?
do? What can I create? And I think the first one was Glassy Sky, which is a song from Tokyo Ghoul. I'll be honest, all these songs, Mike seems to be very equipped with notes, which is amazing. I always love it when guests do that. But like obviously, you say as much as you want to. Listening to it, I can get obviously I can't feature this music on the podcast because I don't have the compositional copyright, guys. But there's gonna be a link in the description to this music in the description. It's gonna be a Push FM link, so you click on that and it'll bring you to like all the services where the music's available: YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, all of the places. But this to me was the vibe, the first jumping point. Glassy Sky is a song that I talked a lot about in the Tokyo Ghoul episode I did with Tsunar, and it's a very peaceful piece, and it just fit very naturally with like the different piano structures and chords coming together with little strings, and you definitely added an ambience to it that I adored. You know, like you just listen to those strings and they just pluck at you and they just make you curious. And having a song that's like 4 minutes long for an album opening, that's a lot of attention span. But I feel like this song holds it together very well. So not needing to listen to all of it obviously as we talk, but like what were your takes on like when we made this together?
Well, first of all, one of the things that I realized the most that I was like that I like kind of ignored somehow was that we never use percussion at all. There
Nope.
aren't any kind of
I
percussion.
never wanted to use percussion for
And
this album.
especially the first tracks. So I was like, okay, the piano is good. I mean, I have no comments about the composition because every piece is a masterpiece. I mean, it's Japanese composers.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
they are
and anime anthems. The point of that is like let's take my favorites of the best.
exactly.
Come on, like the selection process wise, you're gonna be good every time.
Exactly. So the challenge was the challenge or what is it was what can I add to make it to sound a little better. So that's when I think, okay, why don't we grab just some staccato strings and go with it? And that's the percussion I was missing when listening to that. Just subtle, well balanced. Like okay, that was great. And it is not that I rearrange anything. I just grab the chords.
And you put it together how it felt to be put together.
Exactly.
Yeah. And this piece to me is such a relaxing, vibey jumping point. And I think that Anime Anthems Volume 4, the combination of orchestral and like ambient music, and I feel like the ambient music that we really went with here is like reverberally time-based effects wise. We're like, let's lay it on thick. Let's give it that space it deserves. Let's give it that like ambient coat. You know what I mean? It's an orchestral house with an ambient coat. And I feel like if you were to like select a style of music that best describes that, to me it's a ballad. And the rest of the album is kind of it's just one big anime music ambient orchestral ballad. You had these little things given to you and then you added your sauce on top of it, which is what I really like about the collaborative process, to be completely honest. Slapping on the headphones and moving over to track number 2, People Password. This one, I'm not gonna lie, this one was weird to me. Because this was like definitely a track where I gave you ideas, but you went the direction you wanted to. And I didn't really stop you. And there's like little nice piano bits here, but like the strings elevate everything here. The strings hold it together, and the strings are like, this is my track. You know, like I think I mixed it to like try to give it that piano the presence. I always kind of go to the piano when I'm mixing, but it just feels a different type of energy with this one. What were your thoughts about this song?
Well, first of all, it's funny that you mentioned that this is Mike's song because it's actually my favorite one.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know, and the thing is that this song has a heavy load of nostalgia.
Why? Why?
The compositions, the way the music was scored is so subtle. So like every time I listen to it, and we are listening to it right now, I know
Yeah.
we cannot beat it, but it makes me feel nostalgic and a little bit sad. But that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I unfortunately don't know this anime where the song
I'll
is
be
from.
honest with you. There's some of these I don't even remember which anime it's attached to.
So-
it's come to the point where I make so many songs, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it's like it's an anime music song. I know that, but
And
beautiful. And at the end, how it's just like, I mean, it goes to what I was saying. It's really the strings of songs.
but the fun part is that at the end I didn't use strings, but I use a mellotron.
It's a mellotron. It's a mellotron, but it's got that like layer texture that's very stringy.
But that's what the
But it
mellotron is
works.
about.
Yeah, that's what the mellotron's about. And why a mellotron?
I was just exploring.
Exactly.
Exactly. Like once again, it wasn't about the scoring matter, whatever, because the music was already written.
Yeah, it's you take. This is the thing with cover songs. Like this is where the original is. This is point A. We're at the original, and when you cover a song, what I've learned is that you can draw a circle around the song, and you can go to any direction that you feel appropriate in classical crossover. That's why it's called a crossover. Let me go from extremity of 180 over here to 90 degrees over here, and let me just decide where to take it stylistically in every way you want.
Exactly. That's something that I actually do when I record the bass covers. Well, as you know, I have a YouTube channel. I record.
Yeah,
bass
links in the
covers.
description, of course.
And thank you. And sometimes I am like, okay, no, this bass line is so good, I cannot modify a single eighth note or 16th note because it's
do
perfect
not
the way it is.
arpeggiate a thing.
Exactly. Or sometimes I just go on my own way.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit what I wanted. I already the song was People Pass already was like really nostalgic, but I wanted to add something else, and I thought of the mellotron because I remember back in the day I discovered what the mellotron was in our classes when we began using. Well, or personally, I began using Arturia plugins.
Yeah.
And I discovered that when I was like, oh, geez.
That's what's fun about like purchasing a new plugin library of like virtual instruments.
And then I remember, what if I do that? And then I went to go poof. What if I put a lo-fi filter on it? And boom, that's the result.
Yeah.
And the panning, the panning was like, what if I pan every chord? Okay, yeah. The hard panning was like,
What if I make it weird here? What if I make it weird there? What if I make it weird there? And then it's like a classical crossover, but we're crossing over into like multiple musical boundaries, breaking a little bit of the rules. It's weird. What you just said is weird. Like, why are you panning every single chord? That's bizarre. Like that's that. I hear it obviously in the song, but it's not a normal concept. It's something that, like, as someone who studied a lot in electroacoustic music, I really felt like you can break every rule and then it's your composition and who cares? Like, it's music. Rules are meant to be broken. But I did feel like, especially in my studies in that program where, and we'll move to track 3 after this, but like why I feel like this point is important to me and resonates with me when you say that is that when we were being taught, like, oh, you can compose in this style. Okay, if you want to compose in this style, you need the following 3 instruments between this tempo to this tempo. These keys are preferred, and that's how you do it. I didn't like that. Let me just do whatever I want and make whatever I want and create whatever I want. Obviously, in the context of a film and there's a director behind you and everything, that's different. But like when you're creating an album, that's where you can get wild and crazy.
But that's precisely the point about going to music school and that this is where the problem could be. Because I mean, I struggled a lot when I was back in music school, and it took me like several years to understand that, okay, we use these concepts, or they use this concept because that's the way music was done back in the day. And what is tough about how do you put a note on art? How do you put a note on music? How do you qualify it? Right?
You don't.
So
the marks didn't mean much to me, to be honest.
Exactly.
The experience meant more.
exactly. So, but the whole bureaucracy demands you to give notes, so they need to find a way to do
Yeah,
it.
you know, a final assistant to call them.
And
Yeah.
in the other hand, so sometimes like schools have like a vision of what their student would like to be,
Yeah.
and yeah, and this is where okay you fit into into that
The bubble.
exactly you fit into the do you fit into that bubble
Or not.
or not exactly, and that's when I suffer a lot because I knew I didn't, and
Yeah.
but exactly
like,
so
that's what's cool.
exactly but then you take everything you learn and then you put it in your own way. Probably I'm pretty sure that if I show the arrangement I did to any of my teachers, I'm gonna get like a lot of mistakes because
Flat, a lot
you
of
have
flat.
fifth parallel fifth eighth parallel
Yeah,
and
exactly.
here
Exactly.
it's like
And the thing is, I really want to say what you said, comment on what you said earlier, the bubble thing. It's like you don't fit in this bubble. And I always felt like when I was doing these programs, being literally the only person who ran like a weekly YouTube production every single week on top of schoolwork, I got to have my own bubble. And I've been building at this specific bubble for such a long time that now it's like people from around the world listen to it. So that's what I like about that. I don't have to fit the bubble of like this. These are the rules. This is how you make music. It's like let me be myself. But I don't want to get too sidetracked. Let's go to. But I think what you're saying is I like listen, like we're in complete agreement here. Let's go to Paradise Lost track number 3, because this song is another Mike special. It's another Mike special. Yeah, I remember this one.
Yeah.
This one is the one with the swing, the energy. Honestly, listening to this now with you and looking at you in your eyes, I really feel like track order could have been better. Like this song could have been an opening of the album.
okay, I get it now. Yeah, well,
It works. It's art at the end of the day, like whatever. But this was one that I kind of gave you ideas, but I kind of let you run with it as well. So what are some sticking points for you when it comes to this song?
well, it one of the most dynamic ones. Like it moves a lot.
Yeah, it does.
It grooves a lot. And I'm a bassist,
Crazy.
of course. I love
Groove.
I
Groove
love
is what you do.
things that groove.
Yeah, groove is what you do.
Exactly. So I was like, I was like back on my desk, like just banging my head, banging it. Okay, yeah, this has to sound like this, and for this one, I tried just to use orchestra instruments. Well, I was more
Very orchestral.
there aren't any synth in this one.
No, this is probably the most orchestral track of the album.
But by orchestral instruments, that there are only orchestral instruments. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what I tried to recreate. I
Yeah.
know, unfortunately, even if we have these good plugins today, we cannot still recreate what an actual player does.
With AI becoming what it's becoming, I don't know if that's going to be true for much longer. To be completely frank with you, Mike.
I wish it wasn't the way, but yeah, that's sad. But at the same time, well, for example, this is kind of maybe it sounds like I'm contradicting myself because, but unfortunately, we don't have the budget to pay an orchestra to record that. I wish.
No, I know.
But
Here's the thing. This song, like, to me, speedy, energetic, and I just love the little like piano arpeggios, glissandos, like that kind of like sectioned off ends of musical phrases. Like this felt like it needed drums, but at the same time, it grooves without drums.
exactly. Then time after listening to it and like listening to it recently before coming today, I wondered what if I added, what if I would have added back in the day some brass, some woodwinds to give it even more punch, you know?
We could have. This is the way I'll put this is obviously in a non-pressure, non-committal type of way, but I feel like there's more albums to be made between you and I. After
So
this
absolutely,
after this
absolutely.
positive experience, like to me, it's like it works. It works. Something connected here. Um, and as musicians, we're very self-critical, and I feel like listening to this song back and knowing how you are and how you think, I can see where you would say, "Oh, this gonna da, 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 da." It still slaps. It still works, but like you learn from it and you apply it for the next one. You see what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then this next song, track number 4, this one, from what I recall, was a late addition to the album. I think that you and I had come together with 6 or 7 songs, and I was like, oh, I just want like 2 more to like round it off. So I went through like my old covers, like old midis that I had like made and everything, and this one is from Death Note, and it's called The World.
No, no. I remember what happened with this one.
What happened?
I don't know if you want to keep this.
No, keep
Because-
it. We're keeping everything. Are you kidding me?
Okay, because I remember I made a version of this one. Even
Oh, you
but
did.
I because at that one I know the song because I love Death Note. But I remember that you didn't like the instrument I used for
Yes,
the lead.
there was a weird instrumentation thing you did that I wasn't
Exactly.
even fond of. That's true. There were some back and forth on that, and then I think I just made something, and I was like, "What do you think of this?" And you're like, "That's worse."
And besides, I remember I did something really weird because I didn't only take the let's say the bass form, but I made it longer.
Yeah,
And yeah, but now that I think of it, I should have keep it short and sweet as it is.
but that's okay.
Yeah, but
we tried.
it's just exactly just now giving myself the feedback like yeah, I could have done that, but yeah, no, and of course I love it because it's a full metal song and like oh
Yeah, this song is one of the crazy ones.
and
Um,
there is
And the thing is, too, Mike. Though this is some inside baseball. My very first cover of The World, the one I posted in 2017, January 1st, 2017. I post a cover at midnight. Bringing in the new year, I'm posting a cover of The World. The World comes out and it gets picked up on an article by comicbook.com.
no
Comicbook.com made a article about this cover, and the article was very complimentary, and I'm paraphrasing here, where like you can clearly see that like years after its conception, Death Note fans are still very passionate about it, creating music pieces like this, and like all these people flooded to my video, and I couldn't believe it. Like the video has probably like 8K views and stuff like that, but when I saw that song, The World from Death Note, was in my one day it will come back category. I'm gonna remake another cover of this. I've covered it once, let me cover it again. And I'm so glad I did with this one. So beautiful piece, very easy synth patch. This is like literally like one MIDI channel, kind of pan, little delay, little reverb, and just like here it is. Minimal EQ, minimal compression, just kind of like put together nicely. A little bit of soothe, a little bit of shadow hills, you know.
and now that I hear the way you did it, I can hear myself thinking, what if we put a small string quartet?
Yeah, of course. The orchestral guy wants to put strings. Wow, oh wow.
Yeah,
The orchestral
yeah.
guy wants to put strings. Guys, could you believe it? I could. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, actually, I don't consider myself an orchestral guy at all, but I love, of course, I love the concept of
Mike,
orchestras.
look at me. You're an orchestral guy. You're an orchestral guy.
Well, but I
I've
would
been
say
making orchestral covers on the internet
I think
anyway, for a decade now, and you're more orchestral than me. You are an orchestral guy.
I could say I'm more a sucker for string quartets, string quintets, but for strings I love.
Yeah, no, strings.
I play bass, I play guitar, of course.
Don't blame me.
Exactly. And I'm sad I never got the time to learn cello. I would
Yeah.
like to learn how to play the violin.
Absolutely,
cello. That would be,
absolutely.
whoa.
All right. This is very nice. Let's move forward. Let's trudge along here. We're basically almost halfway through the album. This will be the halfway album point. This is the middle song of the album. Track number 5, Snow Rain. Snow Rain, which is one that you were all about. This was one that you had great influence on.
What? Sorry.
This is one that you had great influence on. This song.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Because this was definitely a conception that you were more orientating. Because I gave you like the little pieces, but you, as it comes on here, like you brought it to life.
Lad, okay, thank you. Well, for that one,
How many Zelda episodes did you watch before making this?
yes.
That's not a number, dude. Yes.
Well, okay, for that one, I think it's the only one where I use woodwinds. Like it was one of the latest I did, and was like, okay, no, let's try something here. And yeah, I went for the wind this for the woodwinds this time, but I was like, at the time I wanted to go. Okay, let's go um with mixing the woodwinds and the synth, because
Right.
as you can hear in the melody, I mixed what is supposed to be flute and clarinet with synth, doing the playing the melody, and it was like yeah, once again, how to add those instruments, but keep it soft, right?
Yeah.
That's why the choice of woodwinds and not brass, because brass would have been just
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
but then once again, and then I was like, what if I added, like, I don't know, some chimes, some slide bells, or maybe slide bells would have made it
Ear candy, ear candy, ear candy, ear candy is what I think.
exactly.
Like, let me sweeten up your ears. Let me make this a listening experience that you're gonna enjoy with like the different complexities of the layers that you bring in with like the woodwinds, the wind chimes, and then stylize it with the different types of delays and reverbs. And I feel like I just want to take a break here in terms of like we're talking a lot about music. For the audio nerds, the engineer nerds that are listening to this episode that like follow my work a little bit, because there's this weird crowd of like audio engineers that follows my works, like people I've like worked in like studios with. They're like, oh, like what's Jaian been up to? Like, oh, I've checked out your work. Like, oh, this cover was all right. You could have high passed. This one's for you. Plugins I absolutely used, and then we can like wrap it on that, and then we'll take it to the next episode.
Yeah, for sure.
For the rest of the tracks, because the last track is a wild ride that Mike did not expect, and I'll just put it like that.
I still remember the first time I heard it. It was like,
Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
I know.
But Valhalla delays and reverbs
It's the best.
is so good, and I've had reservations to say it's the best. It's very good, but I've found other reverbs that I kind of randomly caught my heart here. But reverbs and delays that I use absolutely for that, and then for the EQing and it's always been for me the Pro Q from Fab Filter that I really like recommend all the time. They just had the update for Pro Q4. Like I can unmask frequencies so much more easily, and I'm a big fan of deciding what range my instrument is and scooping out the frequencies that are not needed. Like this bass guitar, probably not going to need as much high end as the strings. So let me scoop out some of the high end on the bass and let me feed it to the strings. And structurally as well, once I have a nice EQ work done and a nice little compression work done, I use compressors from Klanghelm on my inserts, the junior one, and then that little bit of panning, just kind of like orienting it. You know, I like just giving it, because a lot of people, you'd be surprised the amount of people are just like everything up the center. No. Let me put this a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but like slightly, like you won't even notice it. But if you do it enough times in a row, it starts building a structure, a mixed structure. And obviously my mix bus, like I have to shout out Soothe. Soothe is like a must for this, getting away all of those like resonance that I didn't want in the mix. The Pro MB for like a nice multi-band compression fed into a Shadow Hills, and like Ozone to just kind of like give it that little bit of extra sauce. That's like a very basic overview of what plugins I use. And so we'll close it out here. But we still have 4 more tracks. On the next episode, Mike and I are going to attack the remaining songs. And I promise you, the last track is... I've never done what I've done in that track since. I don't know if I'll ever do it again and how I could. So, Mike, for people who would like to check out your content and your stuff, where could they find you?
Well, you can find me on any social media platform. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, now Blue Sky. What I'm forgetting, TikTok. Did I mention TikTok? At with the same at Mike HG Music. Mike HG Music. This is my, let's say that's my trademark. So all of my accounts are just that.
Perfect.
Mike HG Music, and that's it.
Amazing. Well, all of that will be linked in the description. Make sure to go follow me at JaianMusic on all the social medias. JaianMusic.com is my website. Relates to everything else. Make sure to stream Anime Anthems Volume 4. Like, absolutely, this album, I'm so proud of it. I'm so glad this. I've had dreams about making this podcast with you. I'm so glad it's happening, man. I've been like, what will I say? And like, it's just all coming to me now, and I'm just so glad that's the case. And of course, thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Laser Audio Technologies. If you want great creative effects plugins to upgrade your mixing and your content and your music and your sound creation game, go to laser.io, use code JaianMusic. You get 25% off at checkout, and all the money from that code goes straight back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork. So for myself and Mike, this has been an episode of JaianMusic Notes. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. See you next time.